Good afternoon. How are you today? It's 52 degrees, sun is out, and tiniest bit of wind. I don't know precisely how much it is. Apologies to Thomas Jefferson's normal modicum of accuracy in such weather reports. The reason I wasn't around yesterday was because Holly and I went to Johns Hopkins, circumnavigated the roads with great success, no delays at all for us. And it's because we believed the signs, I think, when they said don't take 695, which is a road there. We didn't, but others were lined up doing it. I guess they thought it would work differently for them. And we got back, it was late and in the dark. I don't know if you're familiar with the term of a bronchoscopy, but they knock you out, stick tubes down your lungs, look at them, take samples, and then tell you how you're doing. And knock on wood, we've done well by this procedure, but it's about the only way to know how you're doing. So the news today is well, it's not dominated by Trump, but he's part of it for certain. For example, his lawyers, mouthpieces, were in court today. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have a legitimate motion to make, if it has the momentum of legitimacy, then you make that motion. And as a defense counsel, I've made motions, but my notion about motions is that it should be credible, because on the next motion, I'm going to ask the court to follow my reasoning. And I had an instance in which a judge in Manhattan once called me up, as we're part of a team, and I had chosen so many issues and others had chosen different issues, and we were there in court. And when they picked one of my several issues, I thought, oh, he's going to get rid of that. And he didn't. So you never know exactly. But the defense lawyer was on notice today when he went into court to say, hey, Trump can lie in political speech or election speech. Now that's really something, because we often hear the example, fire in a crowded theater. So what about lies to a suspicious nation? And the case itself is talking about speaking to alter election results, to have officials do things they're not supposed to do. So it's free speech plus action. So it's not so free speech because of the action that you seek by the speech itself. And in longer arguments than that, and I didn't have a chance to listen to it because I think it's that transparent, and I don't even know if the court ruled, but I would think that's an easy layup to throw that one away. One of the other arguments that was made is about the notion of conspiracy. And you may have heard and may have read, if you read the documents, that there are, quote, overt acts, meaning things that were done in furtherance of the conspiracy. And today in court, Trump's lawyer was saying, well, that's not criminal. But you see, here's the catch. The individual overt act in furtherance of a conspiracy does not itself have to be a crime. Because the notion is, I took an act forward. I went to a meeting. I made a phone call. I made an expense. I burned election records. That one could be double up. So an overt act can be a crime, but it need not be a crime, and in fact is usually not a crime. So that was another issue that the Trump defense team was pushing forward, and the court, I suspect, will just throw it all out. Now, in the category of when we went up to Baltimore yesterday, I couldn't see the problem with the bridges, but it was pretty clear that it was affecting traffic patterns. And what we're concerned about is how many other bridges in America, if hit with that kind of momentum, force times distance, bang, into a bridge like that. That's a big collision. Apparently, the Biden administration has estimated there are 17,000 bridges nationwide that could fall down. How about that? Well, let me return to Trump. In this period of Easter week, with bunnies that I've never understood, and a resurrection, which in the pagan season meant the period of spring, the change. And those holidays were fashioned to fit the liturgy. And Trump has fashioned his own Bible. That is, he's taken the Bible, I don't know if he's putting a leather cover on it, and he's encouraging people to buy his Bible. And he has many Bibles for you to buy. And, God is important to our government, thereby defying the First Amendment about the separation of church and state. But that shouldn't surprise us. And people believed that he had compared himself to Jesus, of course. Now, I'd have to get suspicious, as I am, about the Bible's account of what Jesus could do. But I suppose these literalists believe that our boy Trump can walk on water, if necessary, at a gathering, say at a mountain. He could supply bread. That comic, I think it's Gadigan, once said, when God produces, or Jesus produces bread, can he decide what kind? Pumpernickel. Anyhow, I doubt that there is any circumstance in which Trump can produce bread or fish, or that he would sacrifice himself for something he believed in, or he would throw out the money lenders in the temple in Jerusalem. And it's interesting because they pressed him to cite any passage in the Bible. And having been taught by Jesuits and Dominican nuns over the years when I was much younger, though I may be not very religious if spiritual now, I know the Bible pretty well. And he's quoting 2 Corinthians. And it's interesting to watch people on the air. They have no idea what that is. But one of the things it's about is warning. Paul is warning people against false teachers. Isn't that perfect? So Trump, a false teacher, is citing 2 Corinthians as his passage. And I guess if he ever read it, he probably wouldn't understand it anyhow, because the man has no ethical anchor of any sort in any way. So it's unlikely that he would know to read it and think about it. And, in a way, he's not that different. In the theology course I had at Fordham Prep, I went to the local priest because I had a question about it. And I figured, well, yeah, I then thought, all priests know the same things, right? So I asked him about this passage, and he looked at me, and to his credit, he was honest. And he said, John, they don't teach us to do that. So you had a young guy there who's a priest who doesn't know the basic material. It would be curious to know whatever happened to him, but that was that priest. So there's some really good news. And this evening, comeback kid Biden is having a tiny little fundraiser at Radio City Music Hall. And he's going to raise, get this, $25 million in a single day. That's more than has ever been raised in any political event. And the featured guests are the three amigos. It's Biden, it's Obama, and it's Clinton. And Colbert is going to interview them on the stage. And there's other entertainment as well. I've been involved in fundraisers, including a big one for Ted Kennedy when he ran for president, but it pales by comparison to this effort. This is really something. So it'll be, I think it's on at 8 o'clock tonight. If this is posted before then, or you read the paper, you'll know all about that. And then let's talk about a really big issue, the entire planet. Because of the rising heat, it has altered the spin of our planet. It's not a joke. It's not one of these crackpots from the camp of Trump. This is real science. No one knows exactly what effect it will have, but it probably is going to affect how we measure time and how we know what time is, because how this affects the spin. Now, the articles I've read assure us that no one's going to go spinning off the Earth. And the reason for that probably doesn't have much to do with the spin. The notion of gravity, still not fully understood, is that it's a product of the two bodies interacting to each other. And the Earth is large enough, even as badly spinning, to keep you on Earth. Maybe unpleasant, maybe tortured, maybe painful, but you'll be here. You won't go spinning off into space. But, the next time you talk to a Republican, say, that's a lot of funny stuff, Well, all you have to do is probably live through the spring we're about to enter and see exactly what global warming means. Global warming, not climate change, global warming. So, that's all I got to say. I'm on my trek through the Cathedral of Trees, and I hope to see you tomorrow. So have a good evening. All the best. Bye-bye.